Senate reverses stance to allow e-transmission of election results, retains manual backup. Atiku visits IBB, seeks support for ADC. Gunmen abduct passengers in 3 vehicles on Kogi Highway. Away from Nigeria, heavy gunfire reported near Central Prison in Guinea's capital. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. The Senate has amended the Electoral Act to permit the electronic transmission of election results, leaving safeguards to address potential technical challenges. A decision follows the upper chamber's move on Tuesday to rescind its earlier position, which had rejected the compulsory electronic transmission of results from polling units to the Independent National Electoral Commission's results viewing portal IREV. Following the new amendment, the Senate approved electronic transmission without the real-time phrase as part of the electoral process, but stipulated that where internet connectivity fails, the Form EC8A will remain the primary instrument for result collation. Under the proposal, electronic transmission would serve as the primary method of uploading results. However, in the event of technical challenges such as network failures, the motion provides for a fallback option, allowing the manual transmission of results using Form EC8A, duly signed and stamped by the presiding officer. The proposal, however, sparked concerns among lawmakers, particularly over the reliance on Form EC8A as a primary source of election results where disputes arise. Differing views led to sharp divisions on the floor of the Senate, prompting Senator Kano APC to call for an individual vote on the matter to clearly determine the position of each lawmaker. However, rather surprisingly, Senator APC withdrew his call for individual votes moments later. The votes and proceedings were then approved and adopted by the upper chamber.
The presiding officer shall electronically transmit the results from each polling unit to IREV portal, and such transmission shall be done after the prescribed Form EC8A has been signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned by the candidates or polling agents where available at the polling unit. Provided that if the electronic transmission of the result fails as a result of communication failure and it becomes impossible to transmit the result contained in Form EC8A, signed and stamped by the presiding officer and or countersigned by the candidates or polling agents where available at the polling unit, the Form EC8A shall, in such a case, be the primary source of correlation and declaration of results. That is the amendment sought to be made in this motion.
My point of order is Order 72, Mr. President.
Order, please. My mic is not working. Order.
All the extra. I'm still standing on my point of order.
Order, please.
Friends Committee, when you meet, you know that this is a matter of urgency. I believe that if you're able to conclude within the next few days or 1 week, the President should be able to sign this amended electoral bill into an act of Parliament within this month of February. So I wish you a worthy deliberation with your colleagues.
A former Rivers State Governor and ex-Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, on Tuesday joined protesters at the National Assembly complex in Abuja, demanding the mandatory inclusion of real-time electronic transmission of election results in the proposed Electoral Act amendment. In a video shared on X on Tuesday, Amechi was seen standing side by side with protesters. The protest comes amid ongoing controversies surrounding the amendment of the Electoral Act Amendments Bill ahead of the 2027 general elections, particularly over whether the Independent National Electoral Commission should be mandated to transmit results electronically in real time from polling units. In another video, Amaechi in an interview said things have become worse for Nigeria since the Tinubu administration came on board, adding that demands for electoral reforms that guarantee credible polls are justified.
Is life for you better now than it was when I was baby?
Well, I'm just one of the whole.
No, answer now, because it is worse now than it was then. In Buhari's time, at least, even though we are planning to do something, we had other plans for something. We are not seeing this bad now. I don't know whether I was corruption or not. I don't want to say that, but the corruption here. What will you say?
Well, I have to remain unbiased.
I was unbiased about knowing that they are serious. Okay, guys, and here I don't know how to $16 billion contract coastal road will be awarded without due process.
If you were still a part of it,
I would laugh. But don't forget I left.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar on Tuesday visited former military President General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida at his hilltop residence in Minna, the Niger State capital. Atiku arrived alongside Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, ADC chieftain Hassana Shoaibu Dada, and other party members, landing at the Bola Ahmed Tinubu International Airport shortly before 1 in the afternoon. He held a closed-door meeting with the former military leader for more than 2 hours before departing Minna. Governor Makinde remained behind briefly and left later. Speaking with journalists, Atiku said the visit was aimed at mobilizing Nigerians to support and register with the African Democratic Congress while strengthening the party's structures nationwide.
What do you expect? APC generally is a party of forgers. So what do you expect? I mean, there is nothing new there. They forge everything. They forge certificates, they forge age limit, they forge everything. So that's the hallmark of APC. It's actually below the expectations of Nigerians. Nigerians who are expecting real-time electronic, transfer to the various levels of, the elections. But what we got is a mixture of electronic and manual transfer, which is going to cause more confusion and chaos. If we have a single tier electoral.
And the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has said President Bola Tinubu's intervention in the political crisis involving Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara would be the final time the president will step in to resolve the dispute. Wike stated this on Tuesday while speaking with journalists after inspecting ongoing infrastructure projects in the FCT shortly after the president brokered a fresh peace move between him and Fubara at the presidential villa in Abuja on Sunday night. Addressing questions on the Rivers crisis, Wike said the president acted in his capacity as a father figure and peacemaker, but stressed that such intervention should not become a recurring issue.
Very kind to the people of the state. If there seems to be a problem between the legislature and the governor, and as a father, he didn't have to intervene. I remember this is the second time Mr. President intervened. I believe, by the grace of God, this will be the last time. I believe that the Assembly has told them to do this, to get Mr. President, which I know they will not hesitate. And I also believe that the governor will carry out some part to make sure that this is the final time Rivers people will need to hear this kind of discord. So that is it.
The All Progressives Congress APC in Kano State has been thrown into deeper crisis following a clash between factions loyal to Deputy Senate President Barrow Jibrin and former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje over party leadership supremacy. The dispute escalated after Mutari Ishak, a Ganduje-backed party leader in Kano municipal local government area, was reportedly removed by a group of party stakeholders. At a stakeholders meeting attended by representatives from the 13 wards in the local government and other party leaders, a unanimous decision was said to have been taken to expel Ishak from the party. The meeting, convened on Sunday, was initially aimed at fostering unity and strengthening internal cohesion between the Ganduje-led faction and the Barrow-aligned group. However, tensions flared when both factions failed to agree on a common negotiation platform and instead held separate meetings at different venues, underscoring the deepening rift within the party. Now talking security, suspected bandits have abducted 14 passengers who were traveling from the Igede axis of Oju and Obi local government areas of Benue State. The passengers were reported to be traveling to the southwest when their vehicle was intercepted along the Opoku axis within Benue State at about 7 p.m. on Monday. This is coming less than 48 hours after 9 worshippers were kidnapped during a vigil at St. John's Catholic Church, Ojije, in Otonkon, Ado local government area of the state. Reports say 2 of the passengers were shot and died instantly during the attack. The chairman of Oju local government area, Jackson Ominyi, confirmed the incident on Tuesday. The state police public relations officer, Udeme Edet, is yet to confirm the report. Now, gunmen suspected to be kidnappers have abducted passengers from 3 vehicles along the Ejule-Aloma highway in the Ofu local government area of Kogi State. The attack reportedly happened around 5 p.m. on Monday after a Sienna bus, a Jeep, and a Honda Accord ran into a barricade mounted by the assailants near Government Secondary School, Aloma. Witnesses say the vehicles were heading toward Enugu when the gunmen opened fire and forced them to stop, marching many passengers into the bush. Some victims, however, escaped with injuries. A security source gave a different figure, saying 4 passengers in the Sienna bus were taken. A Nigeria Forest Security Service says it has rescued 1 victim, identified as Blessing Richard, from the Alade forest. She is now receiving treatment at a hospital in Aloma. The Kogi State Police Command has yet to respond to requests for comment.
Blessing Richard, from where?
From Aba.
From Aba?
Yes.
To where? Before they kidnap you?
I was going to Kaduna.
Kaduna?
Yes.
Okay. So you don't even know their direction now?
I don't know. Before I could drive from that inside bush, I didn't see the motor again.
Okay.
Still in Kogi State, at least 5 people have been killed, with several others missing following a violent clash between herdsmen and farmers in Ejule Ojebe community, Ibaji local government area of the state. The crisis reportedly started on Saturday and worsened on Sunday after a farmer was allegedly killed on his way to the farm amid lingering disputes over crop destructions. Residents say youths mobilized against the suspected herders, leading to 2 days of confrontation. By Monday, reports suggested a movement of herdsmen from Ibaji toward Aforachi Ipokao and Odolu in neighboring Igalamela Odulu communities. Along the route, alleged crops were damaged and a motorcycle burnt at Echa settlement. This is news update on Trust TV coming up after the break. NEDC donates work tools to injured journalists. This and many more when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back from the break. In case you're just joining, this is news update on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. We told you that Senate reverses stance to allow e-transmission of election results, retains manual backup. And Atiku visits IBB, seeks support for ADC. Moving on to more stories, the Northeast Development Commission (NEDC) has donated work tools worth millions of naira alongside a cash support of 5 million naira to journalists who sustained injuries in a recent car accident while inspecting the Commission's project in Bauchi State. Trust TV's Hassan Lawan Koli completes the report.
The presentation took place at the NEDC State Office in Gombe, where the affected journalists received high-definition Canon and Sony video cameras, tripods, Samsung Galaxy smartphones and other professional equipment either damaged or lost in the accident. In addition to the work tools, the Commission also provided a sum of 5 million naira to assist the journalists with the medical expenses and recovery. Speaking at the event, the Minister of State for Regional Development, Obama Ahmadu, commended the leadership of the Commission for what he described as a swift and compassionate response.
Well, what just transpired was, I would say, a humanitarian outreach in line with the humanitarian outreach of the NEDC, but somehow it arose out of the unfortunate accident that involved the journalists on the entourage of the NEDC team, and of course the Minister of Regional Development's team on inspection tour of Yelwan Duguri facilities or sites that we went to inspect and completed projects that we actually went to commission in Yelwan Duguri. We had an unfortunate accident that involved 13 journalists and a driver. So they sustained different degrees of injuries, and we thought it very wise, and I want to use this opportunity to commend the Managing Director and the Commission for moving in proactively, getting those injured evacuated and receiving urgent medical attention, and in turn providing immediate replacement for their lost equipment. I think it is worth commending.
He added that supporting journalists in times of distress is not only a humanitarian obligation, but also an investment in democracy, assuring that federal government remains committed to the welfare of media professionals across the country. Earlier, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of NEDC, Muhammad Gwani Alkali, said the Commission was deeply concerned after receiving report of the accident involving journalists on official assignment. Alkali stressed that the intervention reflects the Commission's appreciation of the media as critical partners in rebuilding and stabilizing the Northeast region. The National President of Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ), Al-Hassan Yahya Abdullahi, described the intervention as commendable, particularly the speed with which it was carried out.
We all know what happened. I must appreciate them for providing equipment that is going to go a long way in aiding the support of what really transpired as the result of accident around Bauchi State. During our discussions, I made it clear to them that journalism profession is one profession that is vulnerable. I want to see how we can work together towards making sure that they support the journalists so that we'll have what we call health insurance for all practicing journalists in the Northeast. Discussions are ongoing. We hope and pray it will yield the result at the end of the day.
While assuring of continued partnership with the Commission, he appealed to the NEDC to consider enrolling journalists in the NUJ Life Premium Insurance Scheme as a sustainable welfare initiative. The chairman of the NUJ Bauchi State Council, Saeed Umar, appreciated the Commission for standing by the journalists from the scene of the accident through the period of hospitalization. He described the intervention as rare and reassuring, noting that it has further strengthened the relationship between the NEDC and the media. Hassan Lawan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
On a sad note, 4 persons have been confirmed dead, while 2 others were hospitalized following a fatal road accident in the early hours of Monday on the Epe Expressway in Lagos. The accident involved a Mercedes-Benz vehicle conveying 8 passengers and a trailer truck loaded with gravel. Victoria Tokolo sent in the report as presented from our studio.
Eyewitnesses say the incident happened shortly after midnight, involving a Mercedes-Benz carrying about 8 occupants and a trailer truck loaded with gravel en route to a construction site. According to accounts, the Mercedes-Benz, which was approaching from the opposite direction, veered into the trailer's lane, resulting in a head-on collision. When our correspondent visited the scene, officials of the Lagos State Traffic Management Authority last month, other security agencies, and military personnel were present. The bodies of the deceased were evacuated to the mortuary, while the injured victims were taken to the nearest health facility. Traffic was also effectively managed to ensure free flow along both sides of the express. Family members and friends of the victims were seen at the scene. However, both security officials and relatives of the victims declined to speak with the media. Some eyewitnesses, however, spoke to Trust Television, giving their account of how the accident occurred.
It was coming from the other lane to the other one. So he now went to find a truck. The driver that was coming. So like 4 people died. The remaining one died in the hospital.
What happened is that the accident happened around 12:49, which is the Benz was going in the other side. So actually what I discovered is that the tire is like the tire, the tire have fault, but across the line, maybe he match brake, so he now crossed to the other side here, and the tipper, trailer is coming. So from there, when he crossed the other side, and that one is coming with speed, that is where that thing happened.
So what the people said is this motor was coming like this, and the other one is coming the other way. So what really happened is we were coming from ShopRite, so we now came down to this one is trying to dodge them, and we now hit the other one. So that one went front, and this one was hit.
Eyewitnesses claimed the deceased were youths under the age of 20 who reportedly went out late at night to a mall, and while returning drove against traffic, resulting in a collision with the trailer which was traveling in its rightful lane. The incident served as a reminder to parents and guardians on the need for closer monitoring of young people, especially regarding the handling of vehicles.
Now away from Nigeria, heavy security has been deployed after sustained gunfire was heard near the central prison in Guinea's capital, Conakry. Media reports say the shooting began shortly before 9 a.m. on Tuesday and lasted for more than 30 minutes. It remains unclear who was behind the gunfire or what triggered the incident, and authorities have yet to comment. Witnesses reported seeing military pickup trucks and an armored vehicle mounted with a machine gun around the Kaloum administrative district, which also houses the presidential palace. Police and special forces initially sealed off roads leading to the prison, though access was later reopened. At least 3 armored vehicles were stationed outside, while ambulances were seen leaving the facility. Residents described panic as people fled the area, but said the situation has since calmed. The Conakry Central Prison has witnessed violent episodes in the past, including a 2023 jailbreak in which 9 people were killed. Now in sports, Awka United have released 9 players ahead of the second stanza of the Nigeria National League NNL season. The released players are Aneti Uko, Erikan Francis, Lazarus Ebuka, Itebu James, and Joshua Unoro. Others are Babatunde Omosebi, Ohanedo Onyedikachi, Emenike John, and Emmanuel Ita. Uko joined Tanzanian side Mbeye Kwanza, while Francis moved on loan to Heartland. Meanwhile, Oka United have strengthened their squad with 5 new players in readiness for the second stanza. The second stanza is expected to commence on February 14, 2026. And that's a wrap on news updates. Do not forget to follow us across all social media platforms for more programs, news, and documentaries. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. Bye for now.